Okay, thank you everybody who is still here. This is our final session here in this primary room with regards to hydrogen. I also already talked a lot about hydrogen in my very first presentation with regards to how hydrogen works as a fuel, which kind of rules we have specific for hydrogen combustion and the hydrogen fuel cell in order to make it somewhat competitive with the other cars. I will not reiterate on that. You will be able to find all the slides online in the next days. So I will just give you some more general information here at this point. There is now already a hydrogen rules document. It says clearly that you can only use hydrogen in the gas state. So you cannot use cryogenic or liquid hydrogen. Any kind of high pressure component has to be clearly certified according to current standards. And you must not modify it, of course, because then the certification would not be relevant anymore. Because of safety concerns, we have currently limited the hydrogen system to 350 bars of pressure. And we consider all parts of the hydrogen system to be quote-unquote critical components. This is relevant with regards to mounting of these components. It is referenced to the new rule T9.3.1, and it's basically the same rule as for mounting the accumulator in an electric vehicle. We understand that a hydrogen tank is quite a lot of size and volume. So in most cases it will not fit in the back of the car. But this is not a problem because you are definitely allowed to use a side pod for your hydrogen components. Given that it is strong enough, so you need a structural side pod, it has to be compliant with the basically side impact structure requirements. And in order to make the whole thing work, there are additional sensors in the shutdown circuit. So for example, if your tank has too high of a pressure, it has to trigger the shutdown circuit just like the other sensors. As I already said, there are hydrogen rules published. We published them at the beginning of October. We wanted to provide a basis for discussion. And if you have feedback for it, please send it to us. Until now, honestly, there's not a lot of feedback which came in from the teams. You can always write to hydrogen@fsworld.org. You can see it here. You can also find this email address on the FS Austria website where the hydrogen rules have been published. And we're definitely open for feedback for another full week, starting now, so until the end of November. And it's definitely open for discussion. We can talk about anything. It has just, you have to give us good reasons to make a rule change. Hydrogen at FS Austria. We are having 3 slots reserved for hydrogen cars. If you want to have one of these slots, you have to submit a hydrogen application before the quiz. This will be more or less the same process as with the wildcard slots. But you still have to take the quiz itself, like every other team, because the quiz determines your order on the scrutinying schedule. So even if you are chosen as one of the teams which gets the hydrogen slot, you still have to take the quiz. But to be honest, currently it looks like if you're building a hydrogen car and you are able to finish it for FS Austria, you are almost guaranteed to have a slot reserved for you. Now to some safety standards with regards to hydrogen at FS Austria. We are in very close contact with the Red Bull Ring, so the venue for our event. They clearly say that in closed buildings they do not want to have any hydrogen, and they would like to have it only within precisely defined areas. So the dynamic area, of course, will be allowed to have hydrogen, and we will also have some kind of hydrogen storage area, but outside of that, it should be avoided. Teams may only work on the hydrogen car if the car has been certified hydrogen-free by the officials. We're talking about that later on. We are going to make a pressure test of the hydrogen system with helium. This is the closest gas with regards to atom size to hydrogen. It is the second smallest gas atom, and this is used to leak test your system before we put in hydrogen. In order to make sure that you can work on your cars at the competition, but also to make sure that you can work on your cars at your university, we have decided that we want to have a removable hydrogen tank. So the tank should be removed from the vehicles directly after driving, and the rest of the system in your car will be flushed with an inert gas. And the hydrogen tank will be stored in a safe designated area, and the rest of your vehicle basically is then, it's actually much safer than any other car at this point because it doesn't have any fuel in it anymore, and only the fuel cell cars which will have batteries. Yes, and as I already said, the tanks will be stored in a specified area. Some details of the scrutineering procedure with regards to hydrogen combustion cars. The mechanical scrutineering will be done basically as usual, but without a hydrogen tank at this point. Then we would like to make a tilt test using a dummy of the hydrogen tank. So you should make some kind of dummy which has the same mass and the same center of gravity as your hydrogen tank, which is used for the tilt test. And only then we are making the hydrogen scrutineering. And then, of course, once the hydrogen scrutineering is done, we make the noise test and the brake test. For the hydrogen fuel cell electric cars, we would like to make the accumulator scrutineering and electrical scrutineering as usual, without the hydrogen tank. Also, of course, the mechanical scrutineering. And then again, specifically, we are making the hydrogen scrutineering, and only then the rain test where the fuel cell should be running, and the brake test, of course, where the fuel cell should also be active. The details of the hydrogen scrutineering are currently still under development, but it is necessary that you have hydrogen safety officers, for which we are trying to provide a training session. Maybe we can again put up the Slido interface for the hydrogen safety officer training, if you haven't seen that before. So we are going to provide a training session for HSOs, hydrogen safety officers, in end of February 2025. There will also be, as I already mentioned, a hydrogen system form, the H2SF, which is also currently under development. But as I said already, it will be quite similar in structure to the hybrid system form. With regards to specific components like the tanks, pressure regulators, release valves, and so on, we would like to see, as I already mentioned, data sheets. These components, most critical components, should be off the shelf and already certified. I'm not sure. Yeah. If you have any questions, of course, ask us anytime. hydrogen@fsworld.org. And here are some details about how to leak test. So from our perspective, it would make sense to make a two-stage leak testing procedure. So the first stage is to flush the system with helium until no oxygen can be measured again at the farthest point of the hydrogen system. Then push up the helium pressure up to the nominal pressure of the system. So typically that is like 30 or 40 bars in your fuel cell or combustion vehicles hydrogen system, and then check all of the components with a helium detector for any leaks. And only then, when this test is positive, only then we are going to introduce hydrogen into the system. So we are going to attach the tank and fill the system with hydrogen, and then again make a leak-proof test for hydrogen. As I said, hydrogen is the smallest atom there is, and helium is already 2 times bigger. So it is possible that your system is completely leak-free with helium, but hydrogen could still pass through very small leaks. And only when everything is tight with regards to hydrogen, you will get sealing stickers for hydrogen. Flush the system. Yeah, so this is again, as I said, our offer for hydrogen safety officer training. It's going to take place at the 22nd of February 2025. It will be in Karlsruhe at Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. And we would like you to check out the specific Google form that we prepared for you in order to see how interested you are into that. I have, I think, 2 more slides. 3 more slides. So specific of how to bring your car to the hydrogen hot state. So the idea is that you arrive with your car, which is fully leak tested at this point, at the safe hydrogen tank transfer area. So maybe we can work on that acronym. Yeah, but the idea is that you come with your fully scrutinary car to basically a tank filling station. The officials check if your car, if everything is sealed and you have all your stickers on it. Then we connect the tank. It is very closely monitored, so there is a maximum number of people allowed there. Then you have 2 valves, one before and one after the pressure regulator. So you have a specific sequence for opening them. And there is, of course, a final leak check at the tank if this connection is also leak-proof with regards to hydrogen. Then the system will be slowly filled with hydrogen until at the farthest most point of your hydrogen system we can detect hydrogen. And only then it is considered to be completely leak-free, and you are basically ready to go. You will then get a sign posted on your main hoop which says hydrogen system hot, and you can push your vehicle to the dynamics area or the testing area and start your engine, but you have to be escorted by an official, so you cannot push your hydrogen hot car into the pit areas, for example. The other way around, how to get to the safe status again. Basically, you're going the other direction with the steps which we mentioned before. And at the end, you attach a sign, hydrogen system safe. So the long form is discharged and inert to the main hoop. and then you are free to do with the vehicle whatever you plan to do. So typically you go into your pit area. If you're working on your car, as I said already, you can only do it without the hydrogen tank. And if you're working on the hydrogen system itself, you have to let us know, you have to get permission. You are going to break the seals which are on each and every connector. And once you are done with your work, you have to come back to us in order to retake the leakage test. And to be very clear, you can only do it in that order. You cannot break your seals and afterwards ask for permission if you are allowed to do something. That will get you in trouble. We have some open points. As I already said, the hydrogen system form is currently under development. It's still it's going to be quite similar to the hydrogen safety form, to the hybrid safety form. Sorry. The rules are, as I said already, they are also still open for feedback. So if you have any feedback, please give it to us. And also a challenge which is remaining for us is how to refuel the hydrogen at the event and also for you during your testing phase. So we are in various discussions with sponsors on how to do that. Of course, you also understand that you as teams have quite a lot of challenges. It's not easy to find parts, especially tanks, valves, and fuel cells, which are suitable for your application as Formula Student teams, because most of the stuff you can already find is like automotive grade, which is typically far too large for your applications. We also understand that handling hydrogen by students is a big risk. We want to mitigate that, as I already said, by providing a dedicated testing and, no, sorry, not testing, making our training event in Karlsruhe. And it is also an issue on how to transport a hydrogen car to the event or to your testing site, because this could be regulated as hazardous good transport. And as far as we understood, it would be best if you could transport your hydrogen tanks within your hydrogen car, because then it is not considered hazardous goods anymore, but we're still figuring that out, the details of that. Yeah, so open points for the future. We want to, we're trying to standardize parts. So we hope that the hydrogen tank and also the on-tank valve can be standardized, maybe even a fuel cell, we have to see. Of course, we're going to further improve the hydrogen rules as needed. And we're working on a standardized interface and process on how to refuel the hydrogen in your case. Yeah, so now we're finished with the presentations. I will, for a final time, go to the Slido. Yeah. Do we still have people watching?
Yeah, almost ever.
Okay. So I hope that somebody is still hearing what I say. So the first question we have with regards to hydrogen is a removable tank is a massive security flaw. At some point the coupling gets damaged. A fixed tank is much safer. Is it still possible to change this rule? To be honest, no, because we are of the opinion that it is not feasible to have a hydrogen tank with hydrogen inside in the pit or even in your workshop at your university. There has to be a process to completely remove any hydrogen from the car, which will definitely include the hydrogen tank, because most hydrogen tanks, they cannot be fully emptied. So there's always some kind of hydrogen inside. So the only possibility you have is to remove the tank from the car, make the process to declare the car inert, and then you can do whatever you want to do with it. We have in the rules a connection device. I think it is already not called a quick connect anymore, because this does not have to be quick, quote unquote. Yeah? It is completely fine if the process of removing the tank or disconnecting and reconnecting it takes like 10-20 minutes. That from our point of view is completely fine. So if it is not feasible to have a quote unquote quick connector, it is also fine to use like some kind of flange with bolts, and it will also be completely fine to use new washers for every time this has to be connected and disconnected. Because if it's just a very normal round washer or seal type, that would be feasible. And from our point of view, disconnecting and removing the tank from the car is the only way to get approval from the event site and also from your universities to even do that. So I'm afraid, no, this is not really up for discussion anymore. At least until we have found a way to show universities and also event sites that hydrogen by itself is not more dangerous than petrol, it is just different. But currently, everybody says hydrogen, it's like from the devil, and it's like the most explosive stuff ever. And they just have so many precautions for it that it's just not feasible without removing the tank from the car. Does the vehicle status video still apply for hydrogen vehicles? Generally, yes. I would suggest if you have a hydrogen electric vehicle, you can make the vehicle status video using just your battery. Yeah. So that I would say is completely fine for us. We just want to see that you have a driving car. But if it is driving under the power of a battery or your fuel cell, we won't be able to tell from the video. With regards to combustion vehicles, I would say yes, you should be able to drive your car already with hydrogen for the vehicle status video. Yeah, because just like every other team, you have to show that you have a driving car. But if you have problems with your timeline, just let us know where you are. I think this is much more suitable for a 4A discussion. One team competes with one car each for EV and hydrogen combustion. Does this team present the same business plan in both presentations? No, so in your case, when you have one car in the normal EV class and a second car in the hydrogen combustion class, then you are competing with two teams and they have to be separate, definitely also with regards to the statics. So you have to have two different team structures and two different static teams. So also you cannot share team members for your engineering design presentation. It is the very same process as it has been in the past, where teams had, like Karlsruhe, for example, they had one electric vehicle and one combustion vehicle, and for the purpose of the competition, they were treated like two different teams. And now we have the last question. Will the quiz be the same as the class we compete, or are we having our own hydrogen quiz? No, you will take the same quiz. As already said, the quiz is relevant in order to determine which position your scrutinying will take place. And also we have to find if there are more than 3 hydrogen teams who are competing, of course, the 3 with the best quiz score will get the hydrogen slots. You will compete in the class which is relevant for you. So when you have a combustion hydrogen car, you will compete in combustion class, and fuel cell in electric vehicle class. So yeah, I hope that answers it.
There's one follow-up, I guess, on the attached detailed question. So maybe you can refresh it for also.
Yes. So the question is, a hydrogen tank can be flushed. Well, not really. A hydrogen tank only has one opening. And if you try to make a hydrogen tank completely inert, so remove any kind of hydrogen, you would have to put in inert gas, open it up to atmosphere again, put in again inert gas, and again and again. If you have a system with an input and an output, it is much easier. You just open up the output valve, put in inert gas at the input, and wait until at the output no hydrogen comes out anymore. Also, as I said, there are a lot of tanks, hydrogen tanks, which cannot be fully depleted. So there are tanks which need at least 10 bars, for example, of pressure inside at all times. It's really not feasible to flush that every time. And also, what are you going to do with all the hydrogen that you did not need? Are you just every time putting out all that hydrogen into the atmosphere? This is a whole different safety critical problem by itself. So I'm really sorry. At this point, the only thing to make it feasible for us in Formula Student is that you have an on-tank valve, you close that, you disconnect the tank from the car, put it into a safe hydrogen tank storage area, you flush your car, make it inert, and then you can go off and work on your car. If you have another process on how to do it, please get in touch. I cannot think of another process that will actually work for our needs with the universities and with the Red Bull Ring. Okay, I think we have done it. We are at the end. Thank you very much, and cheers. See you again, hopefully at the competition. And if you have any questions, as I already said, please write us an email. You can also contact us directly. You can find all contacts at our website. I am the head of the overall head of scrutineering, but we also have a specialist just for hydrogen stuff. It's Stefan Schmidt. You can find him on the homepage. He's the head of hydrogen. So definitely you can also write him. He didn't have time to join us today. So yeah, again, thank you very much. We are closing just in time, as we said. No, we are closing 15 minutes earlier, but that doesn't matter because... Thank you very much. See you. Bye.